Hi, my name is John, and I'll be going over some basics of hyperbolas. Before we do basics of hyperbolas, I need to go over some definitions here. A is defined as the distance from the center point to the vertex. B is defined as distance from the center point to the co-vertex. And C is defined as distance from the center to the focal point. So you have to know all of these relationships, what A, B, and C is before you actually start. And the relationship between A, B, and C is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. And it's kind of like the Pythagorean theorems. It's easy to memorize. Also, another basic thing that you have to know is that this is the standard form, x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared always has to equal 1 right there. And a is always under the first term right there. So if a is under the x, the transversal axis is going to go this way, horizontally. If y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1, then the transversal axis is going to go this way, vertical. Always note y and k, x and h, your center point is always going to be h comma k. Okay? So that's the basics of hyperbolas. So let's actually go to a problem that a student came up with, or a problem from one of the books. So here's your problem. X squared minus 4y squared minus 6x minus 16y minus 11 equals 0. So you got a problem here. It's not in standard form. This is in general form. Most books call this the general form. You have to change this into standard form before you actually start. Okay? Of course, you have to find the center and your focal point. So here's how we do this. You group the x's and the y's, and you move the constant to the right-hand side. So x squared minus 6x minus 4y squared minus 16y. Group them. I'm going to put a factor out a negative, so it becomes plus right there. Equals 11, because I moved the 11 constant to the other side. We're going to complete the squared. X squared minus 6x plus something. Minus, you have to completely factor out the whatever that number constant coefficient in front of the y squared is. So I'm going to completely factor out 4, becomes y squared plus 4y plus something, completing the square on this one, 11 plus something minus 4 times something. That's really, really important, because it's going to be minus 4 times whatever this value is. Completing the square on this, I take this number, 2 or 6, and I divide it by 2, that's 3, and I square it, becomes 9. So always take this coefficient, divide it by 2, then square it. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, square it, that becomes 9. Take this number 4, divide it by 2, same thing again, that's 2 squared, that becomes 4. Since I added 9 to the left side, I add 9 to the right side. 4 times 4 is 16. See how I noticed that I didn't have to write minus 16. I already put in that 4 right there, so it's going to be minus 16. Factoring this, x minus 3, quantity squared. What happened is x, you put the x without the squared, drop the minus. Half of 6 is 3. That's the easy way to factor this. Minus 4 times y plus 2 quantity squared is equal to 11 plus 9 is 20, minus 16, that's equal to 4. Remember, I have to get this equal to 1. You do not subtract 3, guys, to both sides. You divide by 4 to both sides. You end up with x minus 3 quantity squared over 4 minus, these cancel, y plus 2 quantity squared over 1 is equal to 1, and you have it in standard form. First thing you do, once you get into standard form, is find your center point. Your center point is h comma k. So your center point is going to be h always reflects with the x. It's the opposite of the inside, 3. Opposite of the inside, -2. That's your center point. We found it right there. To find the focal point, that's a squared. Remember, it's always in front of the first component. So a is equal to plus or minus 2. That's your b squared. B is equal to plus or minus 1. We know that from previous, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. C squared is equal to 4 plus 1, which is 5. C is equal to plus or minus root 5. Since the transversal axis is horizontal, we're going to add from the center point plus or minus root 5. So your focal point is going to be 3 plus root 5 comma -2. And your second focal point is going to be 3 minus radical 5 comma -2. To find your vertex, obviously, you put plus or minus 2 on your A. So your vertex is going to be from the center point, 3 plus 2, plus or minus 2, comma -2. And so if you expand it out, it's going to be 3 plus 2, which is 5, comma -2. 3 minus 2 is going to be 1, comma -2. So those are your two vertices. I'm not going to graph this. Heck, excuse me. I'm going to graph this for you. Let's graph it, see what it looks like, okay? Okay, so what would this look like? Center point is 3, -2, so it'll be quadrant 4. 1, 2, 3, -2. That's your center point. It's going to go from this right here. A is plus or minus 2, so we go plus or minus 2, left and right. That's under the x. You notice that? So therefore, it's going to be plus or minus 2 on the left or right. B is going to be plus or minus 1, up 1, down 1. So draw your box right there. And from the corner, vertex, these are your asymptotes that's going to come out. Since the transversal axis is this way. And then, got it? So that's, I'm going to draw it with a different shade of color, just so that you can see a little bit differently. So it's going to go towards your asymptotes right there. Okay? So there it is. One thing I also want to do is, it might be on the test, so you better please write this in. They also want you to find the asymptotes, equation of the asymptote. So let's finish it up. The equation of the asymptote, this is in the form, point slope form. The point slope form says y minus y naught, y1 is equal to m times x minus x naught. Okay? Or, since your center is, it has to go through your center, which is h comma k, y minus k is equal to plus or minus. That's the plus, that's the minus. The slope is your rise over your run times x minus h. Write this down somewhere, please. And this is a formula you're going to need to use. So in our case, since our center was at 3, 2, 3, -2, our equation becomes y minus -2 is plus 2 is equal to, for your asymptote, that is, plus or minus. The rise is up 1, and then the run is 2. So from the center, you can kind of see the rise is plus 1, and then the run is 2. So it's 2 over 1, which is 2, times x minus 3. You can simplify that further just a little bit. Equals plus or minus 2 times x minus 3. Just keep it like this in point slope form. Hope it helps you to do your homework. And if you have any questions, let me know, guys. Take care. Bye.